দেখে যা ঝোলটা কিভাবে দিল দেখ আয় আমার লাগবে তুই দরজাটা কেন এরকম করছিস কেন
जा नहीं की जा
দেখি
না
ওই বেঁচে আছে নাকি তুই খোঁজাখুঁজি করেছিস
মানে
মাছটাকে নিয়ে খোঁজাখুঁজি করেছিস
না তো
অনেক করেছিস বেঁচে আছে একটা রাখলাম তো আরেকটা নিল দিয়ে আর উপরে ঠাকুরের ছবি আছে এই তুই ঘর থেকে বেরা তো সবে প্রচুর প্রচুর করে যাচ্ছে দিদি আমার
box. He waits both of them. Nice work from Aman initially to step away and accelerate past the defender. A very skillful young player, didn't quite get the game time with East Bengal. A couple of them coming in from East Bengal with Tobat and Aman CK, both operating on the right. And here's a fan favourite on the left, Sanan with the familiar step over, a free error as well.
Goal.
Not too long of a wait. 4 on the clock, 1 on the score sheet. Sanan combines with Wania. Welcome to Jamsedpur, the fans would say. And there's the dancing feet. We see a step over. We've all been habituated seeing, but not quite the same story for Isuru Kumara. And Rainier came through into the crowd from behind. And no one marking him, quite easy a task. Placed it in, connected well, but have to give credits to the cross from Sanan Shuyata. Here's Sanan combining with Shuyata. Quick feed, Shuyata rolls it in again. A touch from the keeper by Wania. Looks to be his day already. What a signing is turning out to be right at the start of the season. Job too easy for Jamsedpur right now. 2 for Rainier in 2 minutes. Look at that silky footwork from Shuyata to roll it in. Priyashan got a touch, but the rebound falls kindly to Rainier.
খেলা এখনো শুরু হয়নি, বৃষ্টির জন্য ডিলে হচ্ছে ম্যাচ শুরু হতে। তো আমাদের আরও কিছুটা সময় অপেক্ষা করতে হবে। শুরুতে অবশ্য একটু স্কোর দিয়ে দিয়েছিলাম, ভুল করেছিলাম, হাইলাইটস দেখাচ্ছিল সেটাই স্কোর ভেবে ফেলেছিলাম। তো সরি ফর দ্যাট। খেলা এখনও শুরু হয়নি। জামশেদপুর এবং এসসি দিল্লির মধ্যে ম্যাচটা এখনও শুরু হয়নি, বৃষ্টির জন্য কিছুটা ডিলে হচ্ছে ম্যাচ। স্কোর আপডেট দিতে থাকবো, খেলা শুরু হলেই স্কোর আপডেট আপনাদের সামনে চলে আসবে। সো প্লিজ একটু অপেক্ষা করতে হবে আপনাদেরকে। অত্যন্ত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ ম্যাচ এটি, মোহনবাগানের ম্যাচও রয়েছে আজকে সন্ধ্যে 7টার সময়। আশা করছি সেই ম্যাচেরও আপনাদেরকে আপডেট দিতে পারবো। নমস্কার। আপনারা হয়তো ভাবছেন যে স্কোর কিছুই দিচ্ছি না, টাইম দিচ্ছি না, কারণ হচ্ছে খেলাটাই এখনও শুরু হয়নি। ডিলে হচ্ছে ম্যাচ শুরু হতে বৃষ্টির জন্য। এখনও প্রায় 15-20 মিনিট পরে খেলা শুরু হবে। ডিউ টু রেন খেলা স্টপ রয়েছে, সেই কারণেই স্কোরও দিতে পারছি না আপনাদের জন্য। তো লাইভ অন করে দিয়ে তো বন্ধ করে দেওয়া যায় না, সে কারণে লাইভটা অন রয়েছে। আশা করছি কিছুক্ষণের মধ্যে খেলা শুরু হলে আপনাদের সামনে এই স্কোর আপডেট দেব আপনাদেরকে। এখনো প্রায় 10 মিনিট পরে হয়তো খেলা শুরু হবে। তাই বলবো 10 মিনিট পরেই কমেন্ট্রি এবং ম্যাচের স্কোর আপডেট পাবেন আপনারা। দেখুন, খেলা শুরু হতে দেরি হচ্ছে কারণ বৃষ্টির জন্য, সে কারণেই স্কোর আপডেট বা কমেন্ট্রি আপনাদের সামনে রাখতে পারছি না। এখনও খেলা শুরু হয়নি, আর হয়তো কিছুক্ষণের মধ্যেই শুরু হয়ে যাবে হোপফুলি। দেখা যাক। এখনও পর্যন্ত জামশেদপুর এফসি ভার্সেস এসসি দিল্লির ম্যাচটা শুরু হয়নি। জামশেদপুর এমনিতে আপনারা জানেন যে তারা আইএসএল খেলবে না, নাম তুলে নিয়েছে। সেই জায়গায় দাঁড়িয়ে এই সিদ্ধান্ত তাদের প্লেয়ারদের উপরে আদৌ কোনো প্রভাব ফেলে কিনা সেটা একটা বড় বিষয় এই মুহূর্তে দাঁড়িয়ে, যে কারণেই এই ম্যাচটা অত্যন্ত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ। প্লেয়ারদের কাছেও তারা প্রমাণ করতে চাইছে যে তারা যদি ডুরান্ড কাপটাও যদি চ্যাম্পিয়ন হয়ে যেতে পারে, তাহলে অন্তত তাদের কর্তাদের ওপরে কিন্তু একটা ভালো রকমের প্রেশার থাকবে আইএসএল খেলার জন্য। এবং আমি তো বারবারই বলেছি আমার ভিডিওতে যে এআইএফএফ এর ক্ষেত্রে এগিয়ে আসা উচিত ছিল, যদি এখনও পর্যন্ত এআইএফএফ তেমন কোনো পদক্ষেপ করেছে বলে জানা যাচ্ছে না। হোপফুলি আর কিছুক্ষণ পরেই খেলা শুরু হবে। বৃষ্টির জন্য খেলা শুরু হতে দেরি হচ্ছে, তো স্টে টিউন। আর কিছুক্ষণের মধ্যেই শুরু হবে ম্যাচ, জামশেদপুর এফসি ভার্সেস এসসি দিল্লি।
Brigadier Manoj Kumar Jha, Commander 61 Infantry Brigade, and Colonel Hemat Chandra, the commanding officer of 4 Rajasthan Rifles, and Nodal Officer Ranchi.
এখন প্লেয়ারদের সাথে শুভেচ্ছা বিনিময় চলছে।
Sports Government of Jharkhand coming out to greet the players. Gogu He's the captain of Sporting Delhi, as he was last season. Played every league game last season. The captain. Familiar faces in the Jamsedpur lineup. Pratik Chaudhary there. Nikhil Bala coming back into the side tonight. There is the hat-trick hero from the last match, Rainier. On a day when it's raining, could it be another rainier day for Sporting Delhi this time, I wonder? Well, here are the
প্লেয়ারদের সাথে শুভেচ্ছা বিনিময়ের সাথে ফটো সেশন চলছে। জামশেদপুর এফসি ভার্সেস এসসি দিল্লি। যদিও বৃষ্টি এখনো হচ্ছে, তবে কিছুটা ধরেছে, যে কারণে খেলা শুরু হবে বলে মনে করা হচ্ছে। অত্যন্ত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ আজকের এই ম্যাচ এই কারণে, কারণ জামশেদপুরে তারা যে আইএসএল থেকে নাম উইথড্র করে নিয়েছে, তারপরে এই ম্যাচ অত্যন্ত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ। যদিও প্রথম ম্যাচেও জামশেদপুর জিতেছিল বড় ব্যবধানে। ইস্টবেঙ্গলের বহু প্রাক্তন ফুটবলার তারা জামশেদপুরে খেলছেন, যেমন প্রভাত লাকড়া, আমন সিকে, তারা খেলছেন জামশেদপুরে, যথেষ্ট ভালো খেলছেনও। তাদের ভবিষ্যৎ কী হবে তা নিয়ে তারা নিজেরাই আশঙ্কার মধ্যে রয়েছেন। এই অবস্থায় আজকের এই ম্যাচ
had a look at the ground earlier, tested it, dropped the ball, played a couple of passes around, did feel the ball was moving sufficiently enough for the game to go ahead. I think it's now up to these lads to just recognise the conditions and just make that little adjustments that you have to make when you're playing on these kind of surfaces. The ball's going to stop, you will at times run past the ball, you can sometimes.
প্রণয় হালদার জামশেদপুরের কোচ, জামশেদপুরের ক্যাপ্টেন, মাফ করবেন। টস হবে এবার, কে কোন সাইড নেবে, সেন্টার নেবে।
This is where as a coach, as you'd probably be telling your defenders, listen, every single shot you've got to be following up for the rebound, because expect your goalkeeper's going to have a little bit of a tough day tonight, and you've got to be there to make sure you protect him for all those rebounds and the ball doesn't skip through from him. You know, forwards obviously be gambling on that, and that's probably something that everyone's got to be alert for.
ইয়ামান সিকে কিন্তু ইস্টবেঙ্গলেও খেলে গিয়েছে, কিন্তু ইস্টবেঙ্গলের সিনিয়র টিমে খুব একটা সুযোগ পাচ্ছিল না আমান। কলকাতা লিগ খেলেই সন্তুষ্ট থাকতে হচ্ছিল, কিন্তু সেই আমান সিকেই জামশেদপুর এফসির সিনিয়র টিমে ডুরান্ড কাপের সুযোগ পেয়েছে, একটি গোলও রয়েছে তার।
And in his honour, there will be a minute's silence ahead of kick-off.
ঝিরিঝিরি বৃষ্টি পড়ছে, তার মধ্যেই খেলা শুরু হবে, আর কিছুক্ষণের মধ্যেই জামশেদপুর এফসি ভার্সেস এসসি দিল্লি। ঝাড়খণ্ডের প্রাক্তন মুখ্যমন্ত্রী শিবু সোরেনের আত্মার শান্তি কামনায় 1 মিনিট নীরবতা পালন। টাটার মতো কোম্পানির আইএসএল থেকে সরে দাঁড়ানোয় বা ভারতীয় ফুটবল থেকে সরে দাঁড়ানোয় কিন্তু বড়সড় অশনি সংকেত। এর আগে রিলায়েন্স সরে গিয়েছে, তারপর টাটারাও সরে যাচ্ছে, যে কারণেই ভারতীয় ফুটবলের দিগ্গজরা তারা কিন্তু আবেদন রাখছেন টাটার উদ্দেশ্যে, যাতে তারা এভাবে আইএসএল থেকে নাম তুলে না নেন। কিন্তু তারপরেও তাদের সিদ্ধান্ত এখনও বদল হয়েছে এমন কোনো সংবাদ বেরিয়ে আসেনি। সুন্দর মাঠ, ভালো লাগছে দেখতে, কিন্তু হালকা বৃষ্টিও চলছে। জামশেদপুরে প্রফুল্ল, অভিষেক, সার্থক, এম রোনাল্ডো, অমৃত, রায়ান সাবস্টিটিউটে রয়েছে এরা।
Devendra up
Aman
front
থেকে স্নানান
against the
রায়নার
club he played for last season.
আমানকে সামনে রেখেই খেলছে জামশেদপুর।
Sporting Delhi show a familiar side actually. 8 of those players played
Sporting
in their final
Delhi,
league game of last season. Mohamed Azhar, new signing Liliana Hamte,
3-5-2 এই ছকে খেলবে আজকে। সৌরভ, জোসেফ, তোম্বা, আইমান, আজহার, হামতে।
and Burundi midfielder Richard. Surajit Das, who took charge of 3 Durand Cup games last season, is the referee. And in the rain in Ranchi, he will get things underway.
শুরু হয়ে গেল ম্যাচ।
It's the 135th edition of the Indian Oil Durand Cup. Powered by
135তম
State Bank of
Durand
India
Cup-এর
and
খেলা
Coal
শুরু।
India Limited, organised by the Armed Forces and supported by the government of Jharkhand. Jamsedpur in red, Delhi in a changed strip of white. And straight away, you just see the ball holding up slightly, not too bad, but those back passes have got to be sure, Brad, particularly when there's pressure coming from the opposition.
Yeah, and particularly because of the little changes at the back. I feel that Sporting Delhi have gone with a back three with Ashutosh Gogoi having to play there because of the suspension for Clarence. He picked up a red card in his last game and is unavailable for this game due to serving that suspension. Similarly, you look at Pranay Holder playing in that centre-back position and not Devendra as they'd shared in the lineups to us. And you can see on that far side the ball just getting stuck. I think it's in those wide areas that the ball's going to hold up. So it could be a little bit of old-fashioned 1970s and 80s football, which we remember, Mark, where you hit the ball, channel ball, put it in there, and it'll hold up, and expect one of your wingers to run onto it.
এসে দিলে এটাকে
And this is actually quite tame to some of those conditions. I've seen clips of players
দুটো
players
টিমই
play
কিন্তু
with
অল
the
ইন্ডিয়ান
mud
সাইড
coming
নিয়ে
over their
খেলছে।
ankles and they're still playing. But yeah, it will be a test today. It'll sap the energy as well. The legs will feel a little heavy as the game goes on, but it's been a good pacey start this by Sporting Delhi.
Yeah, there's the young coach, Kaizad Ambarpadiwala, came through the ranks at DSK Shivajians. She played under me many years ago. It's good to chat with him and still remembered some of the coaching books apparently I lent him. Slipped my memory, but good to see his journey as a young coach. Started off there, went to Bangalore FC, worked for the youth teams, and now getting his opportunity of first team football. And it's good to see young Indian coaches really make their journey through the ranks and get up to first team football.
Yeah, of course, Indian coaches very much to the fore. There was a lovely message online from Owen Coyle before the first game and before the announcement saying, this is a big tournament, a big chance, go out there and enjoy it, play well and get the results, and obviously towards the coach as well. Interesting to see what his thoughts are on the current situation. Here's Nikhil Bala coming back into the side tonight. Good long ball over the top.
Sanan.
Such an exciting talent, Mohamed Sanan. Twisting, turning, gets the cross in as well. Was Devendra
ভালো একটা সুযোগ পেয়েছিল
attempting the overhead.
জামশেদপুর।
Played 9 games for Sporting Delhi last season, Devendra, after his move from Goa. Nikhil Bala, cross lacked a little bit of pace in towards Rainier. He's got a taste for goal after that hat-trick in the first match.
Yes, it may be a case of Kaizad has finally unlocked what Rainier's abilities are, giving him that sort of freedom to sort of go into the box. He's always had, as I was saying earlier, very good technique. He strikes the ball really well, very clean play in the way he keeps possession. Maybe just at times guilty of not having that sort of physical presence or lacking the pace to play as a sort of box-to-box midfielder or one of those deeper lying midfielders, and this possibly could be the role for him.
এটাকে গিয়েছিল দিল্লিও কিন্তু নির্দিষ্ট শট মাঠের বাইরে চলে গেছে।
And just to put it into context, he hadn't scored in an ISL match, or hadn't scored a goal since for Mumbai against Jamsedpur, ironically, back in December 2019. 3 goals in 182 matches, 6 in 183 now. That was shot wide from Hanamte, who's been a new addition to the Delhi side, having joined from Chennai. Free kick given away in Jamsedpur's favour. Jamsedpur had a good season last season. They finished in 5th place, 22 points. They only finished 4 points behind the ISL winners East Bengal. If they could have turned a couple of their draws into wins, who knows, it could have been a second championship for Owen Coyle. Here comes Nikhil Bala. Second cross towards Aman, but gathered in by Nora Fernandez.
That's good support play. Early cross was blocked. Gets the second phase in. Looked to be a little bit of a shove in the back. But already Sanan causing them problems down this left-hand channel. And that's always going to be the case when you're playing against a side that's playing with a back three. It's that recognition of who does that work in the wide areas. Is Augustine going to have to come track back to deal with the threat of Sanan? And that's where it's a slightly unfamiliar role as well for Gogui. Playing, he was so impressive as right back after coming over from Churchill Brothers, is slotting into that position as a right-sided centre-back in a 3, where you've got to recognise you shouldn't be the one that's always going out wide to defend those areas, which you normally would have done as a right-back.
Sanan just got a foot to that, but couldn't bring the ball under control. Great burst of pace, by the way, from Aman CK on that far side, who's sporting a similar hairdo to Sanan. Could be quite interesting if they start swapping sides, but scored in the first game in that win over the defenders, and a player that's just joined the ranks of Jamsedpur. Here's Gogu. Was the mainstay for Delhi last season. Pratik. There's crisp passing from Jamsedpur, who don't seem fazed by the heavy pitch at the moment. The ball seems to be rolling well and suiting their style of play. It's Nikhil Bala. Pranay Halder. Surav. Sides drew 1-1 when they met in the league last season.
Mohammad Sanan অ্যাটাকে যাচ্ছেন।
Sanan drops the shoulder to the byline once more, just overhit it slightly. CK Aman made the best of it. Long-range shot is blocked by Rainier. He gets the shot in just wide of the target. It was Riata that had that first shot. And Rainier once again getting into an advanced position and getting the shooting chance.
Yeah, the ball just sort of ricocheted off of Ashu. And as it fell to Rainier, he just had to try and curl it around Ashutosh. Credit to Ashutosh, he got his angles right in terms of just blocking, making it a little bit more difficult for Rainier to get it around him and curl it back into the side of the post. But he's looked lively already, and that's what hat-trick does to you. It gives you that confidence. As I keep saying, I think it's just a slight change of rejig role for Rainier, where he's allowed to just bomb forward and support Devendra in attack. When you know you've got the likes of Namte to just to right Saurav and Shriyata, to just fill in that space in behind you, it becomes a little bit easier to know you can gamble and make those late runs into the box.
Good ball through from Mohammed Ayman. Good to see the twins playing together, Ayman and Azhar. They didn't play together too often under Thomas Chores last season. Mohammed Ayman has been around a long time in this Durand Cup. He scored 7 goals in 12 games for the Kerala Blasters over 3 editions. Again, 1 or 2 eyebrows were raised when they were let go by the Blasters. It's a high boot from Aman.
I tell you what, high one on Manoj, just letting him know. That's why we have the indirect been awarded to them for that dangerous play. But yeah, there was a lot of really good youngsters coming through from Kerala Blasters, and we'd often see them in the Durand Cup where teams used to blood their youngsters, and certainly was surprised to see Kilbasa let go. There's a few more that have gone on to other clubs. But credit to SC Delhi for picking up these players. They certainly are exciting ones to watch.
Of course, Thomas Chaw's had a big hand in their development down in Kerala as well when he was on the youth coaching staff there. Very experienced coach, knows Indian football well. So was appointed in charge of Hyderabad at the end of the 24-25 season. Nikhil Bala, still goalless. Albino Gomes. Aman, busy and making a nuisance of himself, but losing out to Hanante. Hanante has scored in the Durand Cup during his Murmagan days against Army a couple of seasons ago. Is Ayman still going?
আইমান গোলটা করে দিয়েছিল রে, বারে লেগে চলে এলো। কাউন্টার অ্যাটাকে যাচ্ছে জামশেদপুর।
Jamsedpur, and on the counter at the other end, that same for Sanan. Brilliantly cut out though by Gogu. What a chance though for Mohammed Ayman, a chance all of his own making.
Yeah, what a brilliant run that was. Players just backed off, expecting him to pass. And a wonderful little drop of his shoulder, a change of pace, to just ghost into the box, past the players it's almost as if there weren't any defenders away, he just so easily got in.
Could be a busy night for Gogu. He's won that battle again with Sanan. They have got pace on both sides. Jamsedpur, Sanan on this near side, Aman on the other side. Here's that chance again.
Yeah, Pranay though was aware that he was too close to the penalty box, wasn't sure where he was, just pulled out of the challenge. It's not a typical sort of Pranay the challenge. And once that little clever run from Joseph as well to drag the defender away from him, created that half a yard of space, and he's just inches away from scoring what possibly at this stage of the Durand Cup would have been one of the contenders for the goal of the tournament. We've seen a couple of spectacular efforts, some overhead kicks. We saw that in the East Bengal game. Vishnu with a spectacular overhead kick. In terms of just individual brilliance, from where he carried that ball and the way he just went past a couple of players, opened his body up. Really good technique from Ayman. Almost deserved a goal.
The best chance of the game so far. Delhi playing their first competitive game, of course, since the end of last season. Jamshedpur do have the advantage of already opening their Durand Cup campaign with a win over defenders. Rainier just hurried a little there from Hanante. Pranay Halder. Pratik. Bala. Now Sanan once again. Nice little reverse, just disguise on that ball. Nikhil Bala this time with a cross. Aman. Priata plays it back. Rainier. Too many bodies in the way. And combining well, these Jamshedpur players, but here comes Agustin. To say we've only played 30 minutes, Brad, it's quite an open game from both sides at the moment.
Yeah, certainly, but we were worried about the playing conditions, given how much rain, whether the pitch would start to cut up, whether the ball would hold up. We've had no such issues whatsoever. We've had pretty good flowing football from both sides and a really good pace to the game. You can see that Jamshedpur clearly have worked on something, recognising that with the back three there is space down the sides. The likes of Aman and Sanan are going to find plenty of space. It's just a matter of getting that right kind of delivery into those wide areas, and once they can get the ball out wide, it's how quickly can Rainier get up to support Devendra. And similarly, once SC Delhi can get hold of the ball, it's a quality they have in midfield, the combination between their players that can cause problems.
Quick passing again, Devendra trying to get that through to Sanan. That pass is a little short. Fernandez just got there in time. Still on here for Jamsedpur, and stabbed just wide by Friata. Well, I think the goalkeeper's complaining about the challenge, but Sanan had every right to go for that ball because it wasn't gathered in by Nora Fernandez.
Yeah, it was just a bit of a hospital pass here from Gogoe, underhit it. Sanan's got full right to get there. Matter of fact, Sanan gets there before the goalkeeper, gets a wee little touch on the ball, but brave from Nora, goes through, wins the ball. And I mean, credit to the referee for playing on. I mean, that's what we want to see. We want to see the game continue. We want to see a certain amount of contact being allowed. And Aman should have possibly done a little bit better from that opportunity that he had. Tried it with the outside of his foot, bend it round the goalkeeper. But already, both keepers called into action. See the woodwork hits as well. So a very, very open and entertaining game.
Still goalless though. 15 minutes played. Jamsedpur had a pretty good Durand Cup last season. They got through to the quarter-finals, losing eventually to Diamond Harbour, who went on to lose in the final to North East. Here's Ayman. Pranay Halder goes to ground. That'll be a foul. Beat Trib Army Red, and Ladakh FC in the group stage.
There's a little bit of mix his game up this time. Ayman just tried to play the little 1-2. Pranay Halder using all of his experience there, just once again to stand tall. It's a slightly different role. We've seen him forced into this role at times to play as a centre back rather than just in front of them where he's played majority of his career. I think it's actually helped him because he's a lot less reckless with his challenges when he plays in that centre back position. He stays on his feet a lot more than he does when he's in that defensive midfield position, when he knows he's got covering players behind him. And maybe that could be the progression of Pranay Halder's game now in the next couple of years.
Nikhil Bala. Another long ball looking for Aman. Manoj stabs that ball away. So Sporting have been quite busy in the transfer market, 6 players in, and there's a youngster on the bench. Looking forward to seeing. Heard a lot of things about Tokchem Diamond Singh, who's only 16 years of age. Really hot prospect in Indian football. A couple of new foreigners on the bench as well. It's lifted over the top towards Devendra. Well defended though by Ashutosh.
And you can see a lot of the clubs now looking to sign some talents for the future. They've got a real gem on the bench in Diamond.
To hit the back up there, possibly Hirata. And Nora Fernandez got away with that one.
Catch the ball. That's what we always say to the goalkeepers. There's no one around him. That first ball, if he catches it, he doesn't have to deal with that. He gets very, very fortunate that the rebound bounces off the opposition player, comes back into his hand, and then on the second occasion he chooses to do what he should have done in the first place.
Here's Pratik. Didn't manage to keep hold of any of their foreigners from last season. Fane and Hudu, who played quite well in the holding midfield role for Sporting Delhi. Nikola Stojanovic has left Jamsedpur. He's gone to Chennai. Mark Zoe to East Bengal are the 2 big exits for Jamsedpur. Here's Rainier. Alex Saji, of course, leaving Delhi to get a big move to Mohun Bagan. Here's Mohamed Sanan looking to get down that line again. Aman. might fall for them. Haven't really got a big target man in the middle. That's the problem. Devendra's not the biggest in stature. Surab. Now Agustin. Joseph. Another player that's improved markedly over the last couple of seasons, Joseph Sunny. That's one of the hot spots there where the water is. They could do well to keep the ball away from that corner. It's good to see, Brad, as well, one or two of these players like Joseph Sunny, who came in when Hyderabad were having all their problems and had to rely on the younger players, that he's one who's maintained his place in the side and obviously making the transition now to Sporting Delhi.
That's why sometimes you advise young players, you're better off going to a club. Sometimes that might be in a little bit of strife. They haven't got the ability to sign more players. You've seen some of the youngsters at the moment in Sporting, the likes of Addison, Israfil Dewan, Asumdar, getting opportunities which possibly they wouldn't have had if the clubs had the opportunities to sign foreign players or could have signed more expensive and experienced players. So these players end up getting valuable minutes, and in doing so, you show their qualities. Both Saurav and Joseph have looked pretty impressive up front for SC Delhi, and SC Delhi is going to be one of those teams you feel that year on year, as we saw them last season, improving as the Indian Super League moved towards the business end of the season, obviously a curtailed season, shortened season. You felt if it was a longer double leg season, a lot of these players would have really started to improve, and as a club as well, they would have picked up more points. And I think this competition is going to serve them in good stead. They'll hit the ground running a little bit better than they did last season.
Yeah, Joseph Sunny actually scored his first ISL goal against Jamsedpur. Went on to get a couple more against North East. There's Pranay Halder. Here's Sanan once again. Lovely ball from Pranay. What can Sanan do now? Twisting and turning, trying to make the opening. Brilliant goal! Another player that gets better and better season on season. And the smile says it all from Mohamed Sanan. Didn't panic, kept his cool, and fires it past Nora Fernandez, and Jamsedpur are off and running. They lead Sporting Delhi by a goal to nil.
Yeah, Sanan should get all the plaudits for the brilliant work when he isolated the defender one-on-one, but credit to Pranay Halder to win the ball, stop the attack, and have that awareness to play him in and play him in early. But this is all Sanan. Twists Ashutosh inside out, gets it onto his left foot where they were forcing him away from goal, just blasts it past the keeper. Nora Fernandez is just beaten by the sheer pace of that strike, just flies past him into the back of the net.
Brilliant finish. So given his international debut by Khalid Jamil. Actually started in the summer for the first time in the Tajikistan game, and that is what he possesses. One of a long line of players that have come through the RF Young Champs and now very much established at the top level in India, Mohamed Sanan. That was a fine goal to open the scoring. Well cut up by Nikhil Bala. Here he is again. That's a lovely touch to take him away from Gogu. Slipped through by Rainier. Sanan's there again. Was he just clipped there by Azar? Well, that goal has just lifted Jamsedpur. Given away again, Nikhil Bala. Sanan's still down at the moment. It's put out a play by Devendra. Well, was there any contact there from... Albino Gomes looking long for Sanan, headed out by Gogu.
এটা চলবে
But there weren't really many options for him. Just Joseph in the box, but doing the right thing, trying to just head it back across. Albino was alert to it. Mohamed Sanan's in this world.
দিলে দিল
Ashutosh didn't want to get too tight to him because he knows about the pace that he can go past him. Possibly should have got a little bit tighter, so he could have got his body across, but you've got to give credit to Sanan. He has got all the moves, not just in his celebration, but with the ball at his feet as well.
You could almost see the intention when he received that ball. You thought to yourself, he's only got one thing on his mind here, that's scoring a goal. Very direct player, and he's so great to see. Scored a really stunning goal a couple of seasons ago in the ISL, and he really has got great talent.
Yeah, you always talk about players that, bring the crowds to the stadiums, get the crowd off of their seats to watch. The likes of Edmund, Alendrica, Liston Colasso, Frankie Boarms. And now you can add to that Sanan's certainly in this tournament. Those are the players to watch. They're the ones who bring the excitement every time the ball's played into them. It's a little bit of excitement because you feel something magical is going to happen.
Was in towards Surav, caught in possession again, away by Pratik. Kriata. Nikhil Bala No nonsense clearance that time. They were just playing the ball around under a little bit of pressure from Delhi there. Sanan's goal midway through the first half separates these two teams. Devendra. Sanan once again knew exactly where he was with that reverse pass. Drops the shoulder, trying to get to the byline, stabbed across. Just too much on it for Rainier, who gets a second chance. Referee's given the foul, though it won't count. Well, Rainier thought he'd added another one to his tally, but it will be a foul. He knows it as well. I think the smile says it all, really. But great forward play once again. Devendra and Sanan combining.
Yeah, they gave the ball away in the middle of the park. It was just that heavy touch from Rainier, and he tried to react. Dashed out. Caught the player clearly, caught Tomba with his foot, and then just toe poked it into the back as players kind of switched off. Well, you just question, with a poor first touch on his chest, could he have probably taken it at a pace at which the ball came to him? Maybe just a first-time header. He could have doubled the lead and put himself right up there in the top goal scorers in this competition. Once again, would be the most unlikely player you'd expect to be winning the top scorer of this 135th Indian Oil Durand Cup.
Well, there was a foul there on Devendra, which the referee allowed to go. Now I think he is going to bring it back for the foul. That's good refereeing by Surajit Das. Tried to play the advantage, realised there wasn't, and has brought it back for the foul on Devendra.
Yeah, just a late challenge from Namte tackling back. He acknowledged the foul too. And that's what you want to see from the referee. Play the advantage, see if they can progress. And if not, bring it back. It's been played with a pretty good spirit this game. Sometimes in these conditions, players won't be able to control themselves and tackles do fly around and players do pick up a couple of injuries and it gets a bit niggly.
Free kick taken quickly by Rainier, but the referee hadn't blown the whistle. Riata this time will take his time. It comes to nothing in the end. Devendra trying to get ahead of his man.
Detfield Kaita would be pretty happy at this stage. Side of not really conceded too many chances. There was that one brilliant run from Azhar. By and large, when they've got possession, manage to get the ball into these wide areas and attack with numbers, and they'd be pleased in terms of how many attacking chances they're creating.
Riata still going. Well, just skid wide, worth a go from there in these wet conditions, but you see Nora Fernandez once again berating his defenders for allowing that shot to come in from Aman,
Yeah, once Aman turned, so many players, even the referee doing a little bit of shielding and blocking. He's dribbled across almost the width of the goal, and not a single player's gone in and put a challenge. And you feel, just looking at this midfield of SC Delhi, the likes of Azhar, Ayman and Namte, the twins just not doing their share of work when they're out of possession. They certainly look lively on the ball. Azhar's been brilliant, as is Ayman, taking players on. But when they're out of possession, I feel they've got to do a little bit more, both in terms of helping Namte and protecting that space in front of their better defenders.
Full ball there to hand the ball back to Jamsedpur. Got off to such a brilliant start in the league last season with Owen Coyle back at the helm, 4 wins in 4. Did it based on a good defence as well. They did score the lowest number of goals of the sides that finished in the top 6 last season. And as we said earlier, only finished 4 points behind the league winners East Bengal. Gogu with the throw. Surab. Aman wriggles his way free once again. Sanan tried to play it back to Ayman. Didn't have the pace on the ball though to reach him. Those two have caused all sorts of problems, building a good understanding between them. A little trip there on Anamte.
Yeah, just a little clip. Making sure, go down, let the referee know there was a clip. And they've got to just be a little bit more careful now, keep possession, be aware of the counter-attack threat that Jamsedpur pose. But you feel they've done themselves a good job with a pretty youthful looking side, SC Delhi. Not really overawed. Little tweaks I'm sure Thomas Chores will do at half-time to just see how he can get the likes of Saurav and Joseph a little bit more involved in the game, getting the ball into them a little bit more, and then playing in and around and off of those players. But his big concern obviously will be those transition moments.
Ivan. Caught in possession once again. Rainier. Once again the referee has to take evasive action. Well went back by Joseph. Namte. Good ball through and behind Agustin. Good defence.
Overhead pass from Ash goes back.
In the build-up, Saurav
এটা কেটে যাবে
didn't get his knee over the ball, just had his head up a little bit.
But at this stage, with the conditions the way they are, it might have been worth his luck to try his
better side. Just 1 or 2 errors, giving the ball away, and an error there again to hand the ball back to Jamsedpur. Devendra bundled over by Ashutosh.
It's a good battle between Ashutosh and Devendra. Let's see if Rainier is trying to get on this free kick, can do a little bit better with the delivery than what they produced last time round.
Riata and Rainier. It will be Rainier this time. No, it won't. It will be Riata. Not too much on it. And again, another wasted opportunity, really.
Well, that's one that definitely has to go back to the drawing board in the training ground. It's only going to work if you've got a left footer and a right footer. You're going to con the opposition.
Clumsy challenges. Tomba and Aman clatter into each other. Referee saw nothing wrong from either side. Gogu. Lovely ball through the defence once again. Nante plays it right the way across. What a chance. Probably the best chance that Delhi have had is Joseph Sunny again, who couldn't make a clean contact on the ball. A lovely ball through from Gogu. Here he is again. Augustine. Tomba. Definitely been Delhi's best spell of this first half in the last 10 minutes or so. Another ball through to Joseph Sunny. Augustine. Another shot eventually goes wide, but Delhi now just starting to create a few chances.
Yeah, it's a wonderful ball in, and once again, once he's in that position, now they're just looking up, looking for support. You got to say the conditions probably played a role in that, but it was a wonderfully rolled ball across. Just needed to adjust his feet, strike it. I think the underfoot conditions got the better of him, and he just didn't quite manage to get the right sort of contact, lost his footing in doing so. But this is where you can see, if they keep possession, it allows the likes of Augustine and Tomba to get themselves in a bit more advanced positions, and then one of the back three, likes of Gogo, who likes to get forward, can come and support and create that little overload, which is what they were used to doing when they play with a back four. And that extra numbers allows the movement from the wide players to pull the fullbacks out. You can see Augustine's pulled the fullback out, that creates that space for Joseph, but they've given the ball away here.
Another chance, good solid challenge on the edge of the box, but again, that has been Delhi's problem really. For all their positive play, there have been some negatives giving the ball away. Devendra blocked as we're into 2 minutes added time.
Yeah, just needed to take that better first touch, open himself up a little bit more, get himself a bit more central, but they won themselves a corner. This will be a wonderful time for Jamsedpur to get the likes of Pratik and Pranay Halder up. If the delivery can be better than it has been from their set pieces, they could go in with a very healthy cushion into the half-time break.
Robert Lakra, who's just rejoined Jamsedpur. Good ball in, Riata. Tussle in the middle. Devendra goes to ground, but again, nothing doing.
Yeah, which is what we're talking about. When you've got the likes of Pratik Chaudhary and Pranay Halder up there, you're going to win the first contact. You've got to make sure there's players in and around the box. Maybe as it was a second phase, players retreating. Didn't quite have the numbers in the box. But as we're the seconds tick away towards the end of this first half, really entertaining contest for the fans who stayed through the rain, suffered in silence in the rain for an hour when the game was delayed. They've certainly got their money's worth in terms of entertainment.
Well, I have to say there was a point where I thought we might not have a game at all, but credit to everybody involved for getting this
Half
clash
time.
on as the half-time. Rodrigo Araujo da Silva Filho to give him his full title. Chase on here for Sanan again.
You can just see there in the background how much water's there on the peripheral areas of the field where there isn't the drainage, but plenty
Sorry,
of rain.
বন্ধুরা,
That's what held
update
that ball up.
দিতে একটু সমস্যা হচ্ছে নেটের কিছু প্রবলেমের
Get
জন্য।
on the end of it and force Ashutosh into that clearance.
Two changes then. Akshat Mira coming on, played just 1 minute of the ISL last season. Joseph Sunny making way. And the new Brazilian, Rodriguinho, who was still playing competitively for Ponte Preta in Brazil just a few days ago. Has played for Chapecoense in the past. A spell in Thailand with Chiang Rai United as well. Be interesting to see what he has to offer. Only 25 years of age.
Yeah, Mark, what was interesting as that substitution was up, you could see Joseph Sunny just taking his own sweet time to come off the field, and you could see the assistant referee counting away on his stopwatch, saying if your teammate doesn't come off quickly enough, you won't be allowed to go on immediately to Rodriguinho. It's another one of the new rules that have been welcomed by a lot of people. Really too much pressure on Albino. Should have gathered that at the first attempt.
Much better from Sporting Delhi in this second half. Tomba. We haven't seen much in an attacking sense from Jamsedpur in the second half. A couple of times Sanan's got the ball, but not with the regularity they did in the first half. I think Delhi have just suddenly got wise to keeping the wide men quiet, Aman and Sanan, and you tend to cut off the supply for those players in the middle, such as Devendra.
Yeah, they made some good adjustments in the way the likes of Tomba slotted into the back line at times, so Gogo could shift over. You see Gogo just in the top of the corner of the picture getting tighter to Sanan. Sanan's obviously very dangerous when he receives a ball with space in front of him and can run onto it. And you just match him in terms of make sure you got pressure on him as he receives the ball.
Rodriguinho, he's got Surav with him. It's Surav! Shot blocked! Oh, Rodriguinho just lost his footing. It seemed he would walk it into an empty net for his first goal. Was he clipped or did he just slip? He doesn't seem to be complaining too much. But the two combined well, but don't get the chance.
Yeah, that ball just held up a little bit. Sorov didn't sort of roll in front where he wanted it, so he snatched at that shot. Albino pushed it perfectly into the path of Rodriguinho, and he probably just lost his footing at the right moment, or the wrong moment, you could say, depending on which team you're supporting. Got an opportunity to look at just the footwear that he's got on, and it looks like Rodriguinho at least has got the right kind of studs for this kind of surface and these weather conditions, so can't be blaming it on the boots. Maybe it was just a good challenge and a good tackle, because obviously it's resulted in the corner.
And Nicol Bala, it was with the challenge, just Delhi's second corner, in swinger! Albino got a hand to it, might have been an Olympic goal, just helped it on its way. Good play again. Delhi winning the ball back in dangerous positions now. Azar. Rodriguinho's in the middle again. Here's Akshat. Agustin. Goes past two. Can't get past Pratik Chowdhury though. Given away again, and there was a foot left in there, I think, by Sanan, which the referee didn't see anything wrong with. Gogi was the man who stayed down. Back on his feet now. Well, they're under pressure here, Jamsedpur. That will be the drinks break in the second half on it, or is that another substitution? Another substitution. Rashatoy coming on for Surav. Rashatoy and Mama both coming on. Both made their debuts as substitutes in the first game. Two 18-year-olds as well who've come through the ranks at Jamsedpur as well, getting their opportunity in this Durand Cup. Because there'll be players that the coach Kaizad knows well from his time in the development at Jamsedpur. The ball over the top for Ashutosh, but just skidded away on the wet turf.
Yeah, real good adjustments made from comes short in the second half. It's certainly been SC Delhi who've been in the ascendancy, both in terms of possession as well as in terms of territorial advantage.
Pravat Lakra. Rainier. Stab towards Aman. Tomba will get there first though. Really need to take a grip on the game at the moment, Jamsedpur. They were controlling things in the first half, but it's been Delhi complete opposite in the second. Lakra shaping up for a long throw. Shitoshi's header will concede the corner. Minutes to go, still plenty of time here. Riata will take the corner, only a couple of corners each. Again, Delhi much better to those loose balls in this second half. They were losing out to Jamsedpur in the first half. They've been much more alert and much much more determination to get those balls away. That was Tomba on that occasion. Here's Pranay Halder. Now Lacroix. Aman just caught there, and he'll get the free kick. Challenged by Tomba. He got a yellow card for that, I think. Tomba. High boot.
It's only got a little bit more feisty in the second half. And that's what we wanted to see, a real contest between the two sides.
Riata to take the free kick. Two players in a sort of makeshift wall, just to provide a little bit of resistance for him, but I'm sure he'll bypass those. Towards Pranay Halder. Away by Surav. Nikhil Bala. Riata. Rashatoy. Played the last 13 minutes against defenders on match day 1. Mama came on about the same time. Both of those making debuts in the first game. Pravat Lacroix looking to lift that over the top as well. Manoj was there with a header. Aman clattered into on the edge of the penalty area. Mama tussling away on the edge as well. And Delhi have managed to get that ball away. Jamsedpur just starting to get back into the game a little bit more now. Mohamed Sanan gave Jamsedpur the lead in the first half. 2 Hanamte goals in the second. Switched the tide into Sporting Club Delhi's favour. Here is Hanamte. Agustin. Drop of the shoulder once again to try and outfox Nikhil Bala. Namte. Agustin. Again looking to tease and test Bala. Good ball back by Namte. Just overran it slightly though. Good play though. It will be the drinks break in the second half. Delhi leading by 2-1.
Hydration break second half এ
And
জামশেদপুর
haven't really threatened
1-2 গোলে পিছিয়ে আছে এই মুহূর্তে।
A great turnaround at the start of the second half. It couldn't have been any better really for Thomas Chaw's side.
Yeah, this is really good to see. You could see the senior players, Ashutosh, just going over to some of the younger lads, just saying, you've got to keep your composure here. You're on a card now. Don't do anything silly. The likes of Tomba and they've picked up cards, just saying, you've got to keep your heads in the game. We go down to 10 men. That's where we've lost games in the past, where lost games in latter stages.
had that 4-game unbeaten spell in the middle of the season last season, Delhi, when they drew 2 with Mumbai and Jamsedpur. Then beat Kerala Blasters in North East. Very much a work in progress, having made the switch from Hyderabad. Pranay Halder. Rainier trying to allow the ball to run. Good defending though from Manoj behind him. Goalkeeper's off his line here. That wasn't too far away. Albino had come a long way out and had to backtrack. Thomas Chawsey saying it should be a corner. Maybe he touched it after the ball had gone out.
Yeah, he spotted the keeper off his line, so a wonderful attempt. Yeah, I think Albino Gomes is already behind his line, well aware of where his posts were, but not in the view of the assistant referee, we feel.
Well, the assistant would have been a long way behind that. We had an incident of a goal many years ago, I think in the Premier League, from the halfway line, and the ball went over the line, but the officials were so far behind the play they didn't give it, and eventually it led to goal line technology. Anyway, in comes the corner. It's overhit everybody from Akshat. It's Akshat Mehra, who played for North East United under 23s. Rodriguinho's looking busy, trying to organise things and get people in the right positions. It's headed out by Agustin. Couple more games tomorrow. Don't forget it's Marmagan against South United. Because of the delay here, there will be probably an overlap between those games. Tomorrow it's Indian Army against Banaras Bagpa and Naroka against Indian Navy as the 135th Indian Oil Durand Cup continues. Sana, good pace once again, stabbed the ball a little bit earlier than perhaps he would have liked. He knew there was a challenge coming in, but in the end it comes to nothing. First time really in the last, 20 minutes we've seen Sanan running at defenders.
Yeah, there's a little bit of difference now as challengers are coming flying in. Did he need to just try and, with the outside of his foot, try and score that from there? Almost, it's where the little maturity, just knock it past the defender who had already lunged, probably draw and win the free kick, as we see. I see Delhi look not to make the insurance substitution to try and hold on to this 2-1 lead as we go into the last 10 minutes of regulation time.
It was actually Aman that had the shot here, and Sanan have swapped sides, which we perhaps alluded to a little bit earlier on. Another new signing, Richard Ndashimi, who comes from Burundi, was actually born in DR Congo. Hasn't had a club since July 2025 when he left Rayon Sports in Rwanda, so another 25-year-old coming in. Surav was the man that went off. What a dangerous ball looking towards Nikhil Bala. Rodriguinho got there first but couldn't bring it down. Nikhil Bala tried to just feed that through to Mama. Here is Richard. Cut out by Sanan, straight back to Azar. Rodriguinho, lovely take with the outside of the foot. The water a little bit tonight, the captain. Fouled 1 or 2 times. Mr. Reliable Gogo did play over 100 games for Churchill Brothers during his time there. free kick though to Delhi. Can they add to their score here, which would make things very difficult for Jamsedpur into the last 10 minutes now? Good defending from Nikhil Bala, just got his body in between the ball and Gogu. Mama, Aman. Good solid challenge. Richard.
Yes, Richard, the new signing. He was one of those that had played in the Rwandan Premier League last season. Played all of last season, and that's probably why I don't really have those stats sometimes. I don't really update them on the regular sort of networks. He was nominated for Player of the Season there, and Young Player of the Season in an initial shortlist. So it's good to see the scouting network they've spread their net far and wide looking into the Rwandan leagues.
That's gone out of Sana. You often wonder where they do find these players from. He has signed on a 1-year deal with the option to extend for 2 years.
I think, Mark, it's good to see the sort of proper scouting where they're looking beyond, the usual traditional markets, which was, you'd say it was more sort of agent-led scouting, where you're getting a lot of players from particular regions in the world. And we obviously had a lot of Spanish players over the past couple of seasons because of the influence of the Spanish coaches, and certainly coaches are going to bring in players that they've worked with in the past and familiar with, but it's almost as if the agent market has also sort of just veered and got skewed towards that without proper recruitment. And I think you looked at it this season, I see Delhi certainly will spring a few surprises.
Good ball across, just a little bit too far away from Aman. Aman again, hoisted in towards Sanan. Just tried to duck underneath, it came off the back of his head. Just managed to keep it in play.
Well, Kazat Ambapariwala got a worried look on his face. There's a lot more smiles in the first half. It's always easier, obviously, when you're winning. Now this is where you've got to earn your stripes as the coach. How can you get your side back in this game?
Plenty of white shirts back behind the ball. There's Akshat just trying to bend that maybe around the defender into the path of Rodriguinho. Durand Viafara is another player that has been signed by Rodriguinho, who doesn't necessarily agree with that. Richard with a good foot in midfield to win that ball back. Foul by Aman, which has infuriated Mohamed Azhar. Gogu again was the player that was fouled. Just need to calm things down a little. Pranay Kalda, the captain, coming in.
Yeah, just a bit of push in the back. Forceful challenge, the reaction as well from Gogu. We felt the first half it wasn't as feisty, but it certainly has got feisty in the second half, and I think that's the frustration creeping in with the younger JFC players. Having led the game, there was all smiles before, and now when they're chasing the game, it's a different mindset, it's a different mentality.
Rodriguinho, Namte looking for his hat-trick, wasn't too far away. Vino has spilled the ball a couple of times, probably worth a try in these slippery conditions from that sort of range, but just off target that time. Rashatoy. Time ticking away from Jamsedpur now, having got themselves in front in the first half. Sanan. Too much on it, too far ahead of Mama, comfortably taken by Nora Fernandez, who hasn't had a huge amount to do in this second half. Kaiser not happy with the quality on the cross from Sanan.
Yeah, just floated up. Bit of keeper practice, needs to whip that in with pace to give his forwards a little bit of a chance to get something on the end of that one.
It's always the problem when you switch a left footer to the right side, because the ball's always going to curl in towards the goalkeeper. You have to be so much more precise with the crosses. Well, Jamsedpur enjoying plenty of possession at the moment, but without really creating anything clear cut. Haman. Good footing by Gogu, who goes racing down the line. Rodriguinho. Gogu. Rodriguinho bursting through the middle. Rodriguinho, it was a lovely touch. Just couldn't get the ball back. Jamsedpur managed to survive, but that was lovely build-up play once again by Sporting Delhi.
Yeah, the Brazilian, he's just got his clearance to play today, just reached. I don't even think he's been in the country for 48 hours. So, no signs of jet lag.
I said the fact he played his last game in Brazil on the 19th of July means that he will be up to speed in terms of match fitness. Bit of a corner flag issue for Tomba to avoid here. Approaching the final minute. Prone held us. Downward header, Namte. He's not going to score a hat-trick like that. But this has been a really good second half performance by Thomas Chaw's side. Hit the post in the first half before Jamsedpur took the lead, and then those two Namte goals in the second half. Turning things around in their favour, and this is going to make the group nice and tight if it stays this way. 3 teams on 3 points. Still a few minutes to go though. Rashatoy. Poor ball, cut out once again. Agustin. Pratik's header. Rashatoy. Will be 6 minutes to be added on, we're told. Forward by Lacra, into space, no one chasing though. Tomba with plenty of time to tidy this one up. What's your overall thoughts on the game, Pratt? It's been a game that's swung one way then the other.
Yeah, you'd have to say I think the first 60 minutes of this game are really good quality in terms of end-to-end action, both teams creating chances, and you feel after the fatigue's kicked in with players having to come off typical sort of pre-season injuries, not being fully match fit, not being able to continue with that intensity. I think once the subs have come in, the intensity's dropped a little bit, which was surprising. The quality certainly has dropped, which isn't surprising. And you look at players who've even come on, even though they're obviously good caliber players that have come on for SC Delhi, not players who've played together. So just finding their feet, finding these little games where they can use this as opportunities to get to playing with one another. And it's that rhythm that seems to be lacking, that cohesiveness. You can say the same for Jamsedpur. They just haven't looked as lively, as clinical in this sort of transitions as they were in the first half. And possibly that's the adjustments made by Thomas Schultz on SC Delhi. Possibly, the conditions obviously getting a little bit heavier for the players. And you've got to have more than one way to break a team down. It was use your pace on the counter-attacks, use the likes of Ayman and Sanan. but now that the opposition is dealing with that, what else do you have? It's a last throw of the dice now, possibly with Saftakoloi for his aerial ability on set pieces, as well as the long throw that he can bring to the table. So should be a little bit of an aerial bombardment, you'd feel, for the last few minutes now from JFC.
Goal.
That was Sanan, sorry to switch sides again. Guys had again frustrated on the sidelines. Another shot goes just over the top.
Yeah, it's a brilliant little touch to just create that half a yard of space. Wrong foot the defender. Hits the target. Probably going over. Needed that. A little bit of a touch on the keeper who wasn't 100% sure.
What can they create from the set piece? Riata with the outswinger. That's a poor delivery, though. It's a tired looking delivery. Doesn't miss out the first defender. So Jamsedpur do have 9 days before they play their final group game. Delhi have to do it all again in 3 days' time. Here comes Sartak with that long throw. Right into the danger area. Aman. Rashatoy. Sartak needs a good delivery. Good header away. Well, they're high-fiving in the middle, but the danger's not over yet because Sartak is going to launch another one. Nobody got a touch, it's over the top, what a chance! Riata should have scored, or at least hit the target from there. Delhi are claiming there was a push in the penalty area, I think, but what a chance.
Yeah, they just bundled Ashutosh over, missed the first contact of Ichadi for the header, but it fell absolutely perfectly. They just couldn't keep, Riata just, what was that? Couldn't keep the shot on target. You can see it's been end-to-end action, both teams peppering the opposition goal in difficult conditions, so not too much the goalkeepers have had to do, but we certainly had a on the ball and in possession, but Richards lost the ball. Could this be the last attack for Jamsedpur?
Aman. Ashutosh with the header, there was no one in the middle. Kaif and Diamond are about to come on. Here's Rodriguinho, that's a lovely ball. Agustin. Drop of the shoulder, gets past Nikhil Bala. Rodriguinho went in the middle. Falls in behind those 2 white shirts though. Jamsedpur will get the ball away. Now Mama, is this the last chance for Jamsedpur to get an equaliser? Sanan. Well, born down, was he on the edge of the area or had the ball already gone? Referee's given the free kick. The red card's out as well for Ashutosh. Oh, more drama here late in stoppage time.
রাতো এতে
Ashutosh Mehta sent off for the challenge on Mohamed Sanan.
নাটক কেন মারলো, ফাউল করলো, ওই জন্য রেড কার্ড দেখলো আশুতোষ
Well,
দিল্লির।
did he need to make the challenge? Was the challenge on
আগে
the edge of
ইয়েলো
the
কার্ড দেখা
area?
ছিল নিশ্চয়,
Was that outside the box? If it was inside, it would be a penalty.
বল ছেড়ে নিয়ে দিল,
And
পেনাল্টি
only a
বক্সে
yellow card
থাকে।
probably. It was a reckless challenge. It's tough to tell from this angle. But it's certainly, there's no doubt, it was a reckless challenge. And it warranted a card. Can they punish SC Delhi now from this resulting free kick? It would pretty much be the last action of the game.
Well, I think Sanan did go inside the penalty area, then just the contact came outside. I thought he was a little bit closer to the edge of the area than where the referees actually placed the ball. Ashutosh for that scything challenge has been sent off. Sanan has gone off injured or being substituted. He will make the change. In fact, Delhi are making their changes. Here is the 16-year-old Tukchum Diamond, who we're not going to see too much of. Mohamed Kaif comes on as well. Last throw of the dice. Sachin has come on for Jamsedpur. Oh, it's too high. And there goes the whistle. And drama right at the end, but Jamsedpur couldn't capitalise.
শেষ, দিল্লি এসসি জিতে গেল, জামশেদপুরকে 2-1 গোলে হারালো তারা।